Welcome to Boot Camp. I'm Jeremy, the Tall Trainer. In this video, we're going to set some expectations, define what success is, and give you a groundwork of what Boot Camp is all about. I'm going to focus on 4 main points. We've got attendance, VitaBot, positive environment, and safety. What I'm going to do first, though, is I'm going to let one of our clients tell you about the first 3.
What have you done that's really spurred all these changes in your life?
First of all is attendance at boot camp. You sign up, that's a commitment to come and improve yourself, and I find regularly attending class is key to it. The next most important thing is VitaBot. I think that VitaBot is absolutely what gets you where you want to be. You think you know what you're doing. We've all dieted before, but we've never had the structure and the guidance that VitaBot provides. Lastly, it's the environment in which you work. The people, my classmates, have been so supportive and encouraging. Everybody needs that push, that encouragement, that you're doing good, and everybody here gives it.
She hit the nail on the head with attendance. Being here is the only way we can help you. So the more you're here, the more we can help you. Tell us if you know you're going to be absent. So if you have things that come up in your schedule, if something comes up, send us an email or give us a call. Let us know, as soon as you know that there's a conflict with boot camp. If you're on the 10-pack, tell us before the month starts what days you're going to be in. And so that way we can hold you accountable to those days. If it's just I'm going to go in when I feel like, you're not going to feel like it very often. The number of days I feel like working out are very slim. Set your schedule and then stick to it, and we'll help you out with that. For success on weight loss, the nutrition program is critical. She mentioned that also. The VitaBot program is going to be your key to weight loss, and weight loss that actually stays with you for the rest of your life. So the keys to that, we ask people to get a digital food scale and measure everything in grams. It's weird, it kind of seems different, but the more you can be specific with what's going on, the less ambiguity, the less confusion there's going to be in that. You're going to actually know what is going on. And there'll be some nutrition lessons where you'll learn how that factors in and how huge that factors in. We ask that you enter it daily into the online food journal. So enter it daily at minimum. If you can enter it after every meal, that's the best. And people who take this on another level will actually start planning ahead. They'll actually plan their meals out before they even eat them. We ask you to print those out, and you're going to hand them in on a particular day. You're going to print out each individual day so we can read all the data from that, and that's going to allow us to kind of mark it up pretty quick, give you some extra feedback. So the program gives you feedback, we're going to give you extra feedback on top of that. So for the PM classes, you're going to hand those in on the last day of the week that you're here. For the AM classes, you're going to hand those in on Mondays. So be prepared to print those out, hand them in, and so you can get that extra feedback, because we want you not only to get a good workout, but we want you to get all the results that you have come for. The positive environment is another critical piece to boot camp and what makes it function so well. There's a lot of behind the scenes that goes into that, but some of the stuff that you need to know about is we expect you to be positive to other people, to encourage them, to shout out their names, to say good job, not to pull people down or be overly negative. So contribute to the environment by throwing out those praises to others. Make sure you're also positive to yourself. So a lot of times we're our own worst enemy. We're always saying negative things about ourselves. So in here, we're going to help you, and when we hear you say negative things about yourself, we're going to catch you and we're going to shift that. If we have to get you to do push-ups to do it, we will. In boot camp, there is no I can't. All right? Now, some people say, well, what if I can't do something? Well, it's not that you can't do something. It's that you're having difficulty doing it right now. So when we say I can't, it limits the possibility of even future improvement. And so we're going to ask you not to say things like I can't, and say maybe I prefer not to, or I'm struggling to complete this right now. But in the future you might be able to do that, and we want your mind to be open to that possibility. So no I can't, and give it a try. If you do have some complaints about the workouts, about the trainer, or about other people in class, bring that to your personal trainer and confront them if you have an issue with what they're doing. or if it's something about class, tell them and give them a chance to respond. If they don't get a response, bring it up another notch. So tell some of the other trainers. You can tell me, send me an email, jeremy@talltrainer.com, or send my wife an email. That's the top level, sarah@talltrainer.com. If it gets to her, whew, we want to make sure that we address every issue there. You'll find that we are very accommodating when somebody comes up with a complaint or an issue. So let us know those things, and don't spread those out in class. So if you don't like something that's going on, don't go picking about it to somebody else. Don't gossip to other people, because that destroys our positive environment that we work so hard for. We ask that you have positive language in boot camp. That means no bad words. We call them push-up words in boot camp because we ask you to do push-ups if you say one. So I'm not going to name all of these words, and sometimes they're going to come in conversation you're not going to mean to. That's okay. You just apologize by doing push-ups. So you don't know how much you might offend somebody by saying one of those words. So if you do let it slip, we'll just say, hey, that's a push-up word. You can drop down, get those push-ups in really quick, and you'll be all right. There are plenty of modified versions of push-ups. So if you go, I can't do a push-up. Well, one, no, I can't. But we can come up with a modified version so that way you can still apologize to the group if you do let one of those words slip. Part of our positive environment actually has to do with some of the clothes that we wear. So at other places you may find people scantily dressed, wearing minimalist clothing. That's not really our style. We want it to be about showing off here. And so we ask that you wear stuff that covers your body all right. Wear enough fabric on you that it could be considered modest dress. So we're asking for not things that dip down a whole lot, things that show lots of skin. Short shorts, that's not so good. Get some a little bit longer shorts in there. Try not to wear complete full body spandex there, and also even be concerned about things that may be too loose or too baggy, things that might hang down. We're going to be in a lot of different positions, and we don't want, because of the fact that you're hanging down, for stuff to be showing. All right, so we want you to dress modestly so that way everybody is comfortable. You're going to be comfortable in the clothes that you're wearing around different people, and then those people are going to be also comfortable with the clothes that you're wearing. It's important that we're not becoming an uncomfortable force in boot camp, that other people in boot camp are comfortable around us. So dress modestly, and that way we can enjoy a great workout in a positive environment. Shoes. All right, so part of our positive environment in this place that we get to work out is that it's clean. It's very clean. Like probably one of the cleanest places you will ever work out. We wipe down things at the end of the workout using the wipes. We wipe down all the surfaces that we touched, and so it stays clean there. And you guys help us with that at the end of every class. Another thing that we do is we ask that you would not wear your outdoor shoes in here. And so when you come in, you may have come in your first time and not known that, and that's okay. We forgive you. Well, when you come in, change out of your shoes. So we've got the couches there. We've got cubbies to store your outdoor shoes in. So bring in a pair of shoes and change into your boot camp shoes when you come in to do the workout. And that way we're not tracking stuff into the studio. If you have to bring a pair of shoes, or you don't have one and you're walking in with the shoes you're going to have to wear for the workout, we ask that you at least wipe those off. We have the disinfecting wipes that we wipe down our equipment with. At least wipe your shoes off, so that way we can keep this space nice and clean, so we can interact with the floor without worry about random stuff being on it. Speaking of shoes, I'm often asked what kind of shoe would be best for boot camp. And this kind of shoe actually would not be the best for boot camp. This is a standard running sneaker. And one thing you'll notice about it is it's got this really big heel on this shoe. And what can happen there is, one, it kicks us forward. So we're leaning towards our toes more, puts us in a bad posture position, but also it elevates us, which means we can roll our ankle a little bit more. So we've got that extra lift in there. So we're big fans of little barefoot shoes. So you'll see some of the staff wear those when we're doing our workouts, but it doesn't have to be one of these barefoot shoes. Let me drop that one. It doesn't have to be that small of a lace, but we ask that you'd have a minimal amount of sole underneath that foot. So a thin shoe. A thinner shoe is better, because it's going to give you more stability as you're moving. And so you're not going to be rocking over, you're less likely to roll. It's really hard to roll your ankle in these shoes, actually. So some shoes that are close, certainly a cross trainer is better than a running shoe. And perhaps tennis shoes, indoor soccer shoes, something of that type, designed to be a little bit more stable and handle some side-to-side movement. We do also ask that you would bring a towel or a water bottle in with you. So the water you're going to need during the workout to replenish yourself. The towel, you may want to put it down to either protect yourself from somebody else's sweat or body, because sometimes we will use some of the same zones as we exercise. Or if you know you're a pretty heavy sweater, bring a towel so you protect that surface for other people's sake. So a couple things you may want to bring is obviously clean shoes, your workout clothes, and your water and maybe a towel. On to safety. One of my favorite parts. Our order of priorities for you guys in boot camp is safety, results, and fun. And so our priority is safety. Our number one is safety, even before results and certainly before fun. If you are exercising and you don't think you have it right, speak up. One benefit of having these highly trained personal trainers here is that they can correct you and adjust you and help you. Sometimes it's just a slight movement can get it moving in the right place, you get the pain to decrease and make the exercise so much more effective. So if you're in doubt, speak up.
Sometimes people ask about pain during exercise, so I made this quick little graphic. A good pain would be described more as a gradual warning, sometimes a burning type sensation. Certain burning is okay. A large area away from joints, muscle burning, is typical in exercise. Usually, as soon as you stop the exercise, it's gone. So the duration is gone as soon as you stop. Muscle soreness, a good quality muscle soreness can be sometimes up to 3 days. A bad pain, however, usually has a sharp or sudden onset. Kind of has there's a sharp, it could be a stabbing, a tearing feeling, but just that sharp feeling, usually in a specific area, so a smaller area, and around the joints. We definitely want to avoid pain around the joints. They often hurt after you're done exercise, so you pause and it still hurts, and soreness lasting longer than 4 days, not a good idea. If you feel any of these things, tell us. Let us figure out how to adjust these things and get you moving in the right direction.
Let us know what's going on and we can address it really quick. We may adjust the exercise or give you something different to do. Another safety point is actually your paperwork. Make sure you have filled out every form on there and that you fill it out as completely as possible. We do want to know what your favorite movie is and things like that, but even some of these other questions, what your best motivation is, what you want help with, those are going to be really, really helpful to us. What kind of job responsibilities you have. And it's important for us to understand what you're dealing with outside of here. And then definitely the health history form. So if you have any kind of exercise complications or any conditions that may represent on here, let us know. Even if you would consider an ache or a pain or it's not really a big deal, put it on the sheet for us. So if you already handed your sheet in, grab your sheet back, write some of these things down, because we will look at these and we want an idea of what's going on with you. Sometimes if it's a minor pain, it's something that could lead to a major pain if we're not careful. So speak up, let us know these things by filling out this form fully. Make sure you tell your doctor that you're beginning an exercise program. They may have some specific hints and tips specific to you, and they know more of your health history. Finally, in boot camp, for safety's sake and for the best experience, we ask that you are coachable in here, which means that you are willing to receive coaching. Because if you're not really willing to receive coaching from us, there's not much we can do to help you out. And so you are free to go somewhere else if you don't like our coaching. So this is not a mandatory thing. This is not something you're stuck with. You joined by free will, and you can leave by free will. So if it's not a right fit for you, don't feel like you have to stick out the month. Let us know, and we will part ways nice. We can give you a refund. It'll be fine. We'd rather you apply that money to something that fits you better. So there's a lot to that, but basically our goals for you is get here, use the nutrition program, contribute to the positive environment, and stay safe. And if you do those things, you're going to have an incredible boot camp experience with awesome, awesome results. And your results are our mission. The next step is to get started. See you in the workouts. All right, a quick look at our VitaBot nutrition program. So it's basically an online food journal. When you first log in, this is the screen that you're going to log in and see. And the main place I want you to focus on first is just create a meal plan. So you're going to click on the little plate there, and it's going to take you to a specific day. So here's all the grades for the day. They're bad right now because you haven't eaten anything yet. And so once you eat something, you have a chance to improve them. And if you're eating really well, you're going to see great grades over there. Another thing I want you to be aware of is your goal calories. So this is the range you're trying to shoot for. You're trying to finish your day having only consumed that many calories. At that high end, that should be 1 pound per week. At the lower end, you're going to be closer to 2 pounds per week.
So eating inside that range is going to get you 1 to 2 pounds per week. If you're not losing 1 to 2 pounds per week, we know that you're probably not eating inside that range, and there's some foods that maybe we need to measure better or that we forgot. So to start with the meal plan, go to start here, and we just type in a food. So let's just have breakfast. Let's have eggs, and we'll go in here. There's some options for eggs. We'll just say we have a fried egg there, and we usually recommend people measuring grams. So I'm going to come down here to gram. It says 1 gram each there, and I'm going to say, let's say 70 grams of egg for breakfast. I'm going to select breakfast, and I'm going to add it to meal plan. So there it is. There's egg in there. And let's say also, go back to start here, I'll add an orange. So let's search for an orange, a raw orange, yes, not orange juice because there's extra calories in that, so I won't bother with that. Then we'll go back down to gram, so I actually weigh my orange. So let's say it was 150 grams worth of orange. That's a good amount of orange. And for breakfast. So now I have those two things. You see a little bit of things starting to change a little bit. So we've got some things. You can see the macronutrients there. So as you go through the day, you're going to keep adding those foods in, measuring them on your food scale, and figure out what your day actually looks like. How many calories are you? Are you even inside of that? Are you way outside of that? And your grades are going to teach you a lot of lessons as well. So if I skip over to this day here, we can see this is a day that's pretty full, and the grades are still missing a little bit. So let's say you've completed a day, and this is what your day is. This is actually a pretty good day, so it's a 2.8 GPA. What we can do from here is we can go to these different minerals there. We can take a look at potassium. If we click on potassium, it's going to take us to the screen that has just all your potassium score on there, and it's going to list all the foods you had that day based on how much potassium they have in them. So mixed greens had a lot, and so if I had more of mixed greens or more of some of these other things, maybe these top 3 or 4 things, maybe I would have a better potassium level as well. And another way you can learn from that is by going to find a meal plan. If I go to find a meal plan there, and you can narrow things down by the minus sign means you don't want to have that food in there. So if I don't want to have wheat germ, I click on that. It says does not include wheat germ. And it will give me all these meal plans. If I click on the food, it says I would like to have it in there. So I'd say I'd like to have spinach in my diet. I just love spinach. So now it's going to have, it must have spinach, must not include wheat germ, and I just choose the first one. I don't randomly choose it there. And then we'll just add it into Saturday over here. So hey, look at that. Wow! 4.0 GPA. That is quite doable, quite possible. So if you ate exactly that, that's the kind of grades you would get. So you go, okay, well, their potassium grade is great. What did they do? Okay, the spinach did a lot, carrots, avocado, banana. You get some ideas, and you can apply those into your regular meal plan. So you could choose to eat exactly according to the perfect, the find a meal plan area. But I like to use it even as a resource just to improve the grades you currently are doing. So get in there, start here. Start logging food and find out what's actually happening right now, and then you can improve from there. And when you print out and hand those in, we can give you even more advice to help you get some credible results and the results that our top clients get.
A day in the life at boot camp. One of the things we want you to do is try to get here about 5 minutes early. So about 5 minutes early, we'll give you some time to change your shoes out, to go to the bathroom, and we do a daily weigh-in. So every day we step on a scale, and that's over by the sound system there is where the scale normally is, not usually in the back room. And so we do a daily weigh-in. We're not expecting the weight to go down every day, but we notice if we have more plotting points, we can find out what's going on. If it's just once a week, we tend to have a lot of variability in that. So daily weigh-ins help us to be able to help you better by being able to kind of step into your life a little bit more. So after that first 5 minutes before class starts, even before class time, you kind of do those things, and then we have a warm-up. We generally start with the same warm-up every day, so it's just kind of a set pattern. And during that warm-up, we're explaining what the workout is going to be. And then we have kind of a main workout block, and so that's going to be either resistance training type stuff, cardio type stuff, interval training. Stretching, whatever types of the workout, the main workout for the day is going to be. And then we have kind of a cool down and stretch time. And that usually is the same stretches at the end of every workout as well. And during that cool down and stretch time is where we have some further lessons, more education that goes, that fits in there, so that we leave with a little bit of a lesson for the day on most days of boot camp as well. This first week of the month is set up for you. So somebody who's new coming into boot camp, it's designed specifically for you guys. And so it's set to build you guys in really, really well. And that's why I want you guys to really be here every day this week so that you have a chance to learn everything that you need to learn to get a good jump start. So unlike a lot of programs where you can join at any time during the month, we only have one time you can join in because we have it built in such a progression into getting you in there. So other place you might go, oh man, we're doing super awful, horrible workout today. Oh, what a tough day to start on. You're not going to start on a super awful, terrible workout, day, because there are workouts that you really should not be doing on your first go at it. You need to test yourself out. You need to figure things out a little bit more. And so this week is about education and slowly building your ability level. The first day of workouts, which will be tomorrow, we call it Basics Day, and it kind of goes over kind of the fundamentals of exercise. So we found out that it's not just what you do for exercise that matters, it's actually how you do it that matters even more. And so tomorrow is all about how to do the exercise as well. So we only do a handful of exercises, but we focus on a lot of different posture checkpoints and the performance criteria there for how to do the exercise well, and we go over and go into why we do the exercise a certain way, and so you guys can can have ownership of how to do it and why to do it, so that you get the best work in the exact same workout. On the last day of the month, we actually don't do a workout. So you go, what? No, do a workout. Well, we don't do a workout on the first day for you guys either. And so everybody pauses for a moment on that last day, and we have a chance to actually decide, is this working right? Is this happening the way we want it to? So some of that time is going to be spent doing measurements. So we're going to redo all of our measurements to see, are there things changing? Because sometimes our weight may not change, but some of our measurements are changing. And so we pause, get those measurements in, and then we sit down and actually look at it. We look at our progress. So we assess, where we are at. So if you got great measurements, we celebrate those. We go, yes, great job. And it's important that we celebrate those successes, because some people don't celebrate when they succeed, and they end up giving up later on because they never really felt that great about what they accomplished. And so if we celebrate those, it has a chance to build somebody up. And it may be you that gets built up. And then if you didn't do what you wanted to do, it's a chance to kind of refocus. So you have a chance to say, okay, it didn't work the way you want. What kind of new things can we try next month to get more of the results that we want? And so I think as far as order of importance, the first day, most important, laying a good foundation, getting that start right is most important. The second most important day, I think, is the last day, is actually taking that moment and stopping and reviewing what's going on. Most programs don't do this to their detriment. We get great results here because we do this review. It's an accountability for us, it's accountability for you, and it's one of the critical points that makes this program as successful as it is. Things to do for tomorrow. So one is drink lots of water. So one thing we found is that people don't drink enough water typically. And so when they come into boot camp for their first workout, they tend to be dehydrated. So as they start trying to exercise, their body gets really slow, and they get more and more nauseous and not so good feelings. And so drink a bunch of water. I would suggest don't drink it all before you go to bed and things like that. But leading into boot camp, drink a whole bunch of water, and you will do a lot better in the workout, and you'll feel pretty good as you go through. The other thing is maybe bring a towel, and then make sure you start getting into that VitaBot program. So your main mission is to start consuming water and get into the online nutrition program. Just get in there, watch some of the videos, learn how some of it works, and start to put some food in there. The people who get the best results in their first month of boot camp are the people who don't just try to survive the workouts, but they try to team up these great workouts with learning a lot in nutrition, and those things come together and they make a really, really successful month. So I would love everybody to be able to do that. So to get on the exercise, we've got that covered for you, but then on your own, start working on that nutrition, start logging that food, measuring that food, and you're going to have a great, great month. So the secrets to incredible life-changing body transformations. So a quick preview of what our transformation seminar looks like here. We got a quote by Zig Ziglar: "You are what you are, and you are where you are because of what has gone into your mind. You change what you are, and you change where you are by changing what goes into your mind." So this information hopefully will be part of that change. I wish I could tell you And I wish I could tell you it'll happen overnight. It won't require any effort. You can do it in just minutes a day. You'll have the body of a model when you're done. You'll never have to watch what you eat. You'll never have to sweat or burn or anything like that. But that is just not the truth. That is not the real world. It's going to take some effort. Models don't even look like models. They're airbrushed. They're posed. They're oiled up. They're so many things that go into that. They knew they were modeling that day. They actually probably leaned up for that specific moment. And so even models don't even look like that. Anything worth doing is usually requires some effort, and this is going to take some effort. It's not going to be easy. And all those infomercials, all those diet pills and gadgets, they're lying to you just to get your money. All right, and we secretly know that, but we secretly wish that there was an easier way. The easier way turns out to be the long way, the regular way. So cross out secret. There is no secret to incredible, life-changing body transformations, which actually is a secret in itself. And so people think that there's a secret, but there's not a secret. Therefore, the fact there's not a secret is kept secret from everyone. So I like to poke a little fun at some things here, and this kind of shows if you maybe are doing some things that aren't helping your progress. So my advice on how to gain as much fat as possible. Sleep very little or not at all. If you can sleep less than 6 hours, that would be ideal. That way you really activate your hunger hormones, and so you just basically crave carbs all day long. Make sure you eat only carbohydrates and high fat. Avoid protein and vegetables at all cost, because they might make you full, and fullness would not be a good idea if you were trying to gain fat. So carbohydrates, high fat will help you gain as much as possible. Always eat out with friends, preferably overweight friends. Never miss a cocktail hour. So drink as many calories as you can. Eat dinner out, so you have no idea how many calories are in that, and eat with people who encourage you to eat more. That will help you to gain fat. Make sure you avoid all exercise, certainly no resistance training, because even if you did gain weight, you might actually gain muscle, which would ruin this whole thing, gaining fat thing. Make sure you starve your body by avoiding breakfast, then eat tons for dinner and after. Wink. Many people do this. They think they're doing the right thing by going as far through the day as possible without eating. And I guess they are if they're trying to gain fat, is go as far as you can into the day without eating food, so you're really, really hungry by the time dinner goes around, and your willpower is sapped from a long day of fighting it, and so you end up eating way too much. 2/3 of your calories sometimes are consumed in dinner and after. So that's a way to just keep the metabolism low and gain lots of fat. Make sure you drive to work, sit at work, drive home, and sit at home. So keep your butt in a seat as much as possible. That will help you gain as much fat as possible. And the final one is never accept responsibility for your weight. So if you accept responsibility for your weight, then it's up to you to do something about it. But if you never accept responsibility, then it's always somebody else's fault. There's nothing you can do about it. So you never actually have to lose it. It's because you're not responsible, somebody else is. So those are some tricks to gain as much fat as possible. Now, obviously, we don't want to gain this fat, but you may look at some of those and go, man, I do some of those. Some of those things are habits that I have. And so you start getting an idea of, maybe I should shift some of those things so that I stop telling my body to gain fat and start telling it to lose fat. So doing almost the opposite of those things is what would create actually fat loss. Some popular myths with regards to losing weight. Spot reduction. That's the idea that if we do crunches, we're going to lose fat on our abdomen, and that is not true. It's not going to work that way. And so when we lose fat in our body, it's more like a pool that has a deep end and a shallow end. If you take a foot of water out of the pool, so you lose weight, you take a foot of water out, which end are you going to notice it in more? You're going to notice it in the shallow end more. The deep end is still going to be fairly deep. The shallow end is now going to be crazy deep, or crazy shallow. And so that's the way our body is. The shallow end is our face, our arms, things like that, and the deep end is us. It's our hips, thighs, and butt, and the stomach a little bit too. And so those areas, the lower abdominals, the hips, thighs, butt area, that's where we hold our weight. So doing more exercise, in the abs doesn't necessarily make the abs smaller, which thankfully doesn't happen, because we'd look really, really weird if that did happen. So if we actually do a whole bunch of crunches and we had ripped abs, we had wiggly arms, that would look ridiculous. So when you actually apply that
myth. It refutes itself. Set point theory is the idea that no matter what we do, we're going to maintain the same weight, and no matter what you do, you are you might end up staying at the same weight because you always end up doing the same things. So maybe you diet for a while, but then you go back to your old habits, back to the same weight. You exercise for a while, but then you go back to old habits, so you go back to the same weight. And our set point really seems to hover where our nutrition and our exercise meet. And so if your nutrition and exercise, you exercise very little, and you eat a whole lot, it's going to be a high set point. If you exercise quite a bit and you eat healthy food, you're probably going to have a low set point. Your body's going to hold a low spot. And it's whatever you keep up on a regular basis is what you get. Eating a special something will help you lose weight. Eating a special something will not help you lose weight. Oftentimes, not eating something will help you lose weight more than eating something. The only exception to this would be vegetables. Is if you eat enough vegetables, yes, they will probably help you lose weight. If that's all you're eating, yeah, it's probably going to happen. But sometimes it's like this miracle foods that all you got to do is eat this, and you can eat whatever else you want, and you'll lose weight. Take this one pill, and whatever else you have, you're going to lose weight. It doesn't work that way. So special something is not going to be the trick. It's going to be special everything. It's going to be doing everything well. At a good moderate level actually. Old age equals weaker. We refute this all the time with our clients. We have an older clientele. Most of the people in our program are 50 years old and or at least around that 50 years old age. Some older and a few younger. But old age does not equal weaker. Whatever age you're at, if you start exercising on a regular basis, you will gain strength. You will get more vigorous and able to do things. So old age does not equal weaker. Inactivity equals weaker. I injured blank, I can't work out. So yes, sometimes you can come across an injury and that's a bummer. But you still can work out. You may have to work out other parts of your body. So if you sprain your pinky, you probably could still work your legs. And so this is one thing that happens with people is they have an injury and they stop all exercise. Don't stop all exercise. Modify your exercise so that you still, you still can, do life. You're not going to stop other things. As I injured my pinky, I'm going to stop bathing. You still should bathe. It's a good idea. You still could probably find a way to get some exercise in. Walking is enough exercise. Now, I don't want to knock walking because doing something is always better than doing nothing. But if you really want, fast results, you want to see this thing happen for you, and you want it to last, you may need to do a bit more than just walk. So, boot camp is obviously going to be a good fit in that. Things that don't work, the pills, the potions, Ally, Hudia, there's all so many of those. Ab crunch machines, they always have that asterisk. This is along with diet and exercise, so you might as well just do diet and exercise. Forget the ab crunch machine. We'll give you some great abdominal exercises, which will be completely different than what you think they would be. And then over-the-top diets, the Atkins, there's grapefruit diets. There's thousands and thousands of over-the-top diets that I don't want you taking part in because they're no good for you. They're not healthy. And so we're going to teach you a moderate way to lose weight based on stuff that really makes sense. Common sense in a lot of ways, but it's uncommon common sense. Things that don't work, food guide pyramid doesn't work. They tried that and people just got heavier. One of the reasons why is look at that bottom. It's all grains. We eat so much of those grains, you're gonna gain weight. It's not gonna work out too well. Now, if all you want to do is weigh less, well, I think you're missing what health is about. So we do weigh in daily in boot camp, but it's not all about weight. Weight is an indicator, and if we have a lot of extra weight, then yes, we do have to bring that down to be healthy. But at a certain point, it's really going to be, not so much weight-based, but, it may ask more of these questions. How about the way you look? Do you look healthy? Do you look muscle tone? What about the way you feel? Are you depressed, deprived, or ashamed, or do you feel great? That matters. What about your energy? Are you tired all the time, or do you feel positive? Do you feel 10 years younger? Who cares what weight you are if some of those things are coming? What about nagging aches and pains? Knees, back, feeling like you're 80, things are hurting. You want all of these things. This is all part of boot camp. Is not just about weighing less. It's about improving the way you look. Your body will be shaped differently. The way you feel, your energy, your excitement, your passion will be invigorated there because you're doing something positive. You get those endorphins going and you feel good that you're making progress. You're going to have more energy because you're going to, at first maybe you're going to wear out your energy a little bit by expending some, but after you get that expending done and your body starts to adjust, is during the rest of the day, you're going to have a bunch of energy. You're going to be able to do a whole bunch of things that you didn't think you'd be able to do. And one of our favorite things is getting rid of nagging aches and pains. So if your knees hurt, back hurts, you feel old before you think you should feel old, is that's something we want to help you with. I always tell people that age is a number and old is a feeling. And no matter what age you are, you don't have to feel old. You can feel very, very vigorous. So what should we do? Basically, this is what we're going to do in boot camp. We're going to log food. We're going to do resistance training and interval training. We're going to teach you. We're going to motivate you, and we're going to hold you accountable. And if you have those things in your program, and you're doing them well, you have no choice but to succeed. That's the recipe for success, and that's the recipe of boot camp. So hope you enjoy this process of getting into those activities. And as you come across questions on the way, feel free to ask. We love to answer questions. And if you don't have any right now, don't worry, you will. And feel free to ask then. So Jeremy saying, have fun, be safe, and have a great month of boot camp.
Hi, Jeremy the Tall Trainer here, and here's a little board that covers a lot of things about how to get in a calorie deficit. So in order to lose weight, we have to be in a calorie deficit, because if we're not losing weight, that means we're not in a calorie deficit, because the weight is either going to come off of the calories are going to either come from our food or they're going to come from off of our body. And so what we want to do is we want some of the calories to come from off of our body. And so these are some ways to get the calories to come off our body. If they're not coming off our body, that means we're eating too much, basically. So here's some ideas here. So how to create a calorie deficit. One is pre-plan your meals. Plan your meals ahead of time, and so you know what's in them, so you can actually make sure they're in a lower calorie amount. Number two, increase your protein level. Protein actually takes more calories to digest. It actually stays in your system longer, keeps you fuller. And it helps build lean muscle. So a lot of good reasons to increase that protein. It's going to help you with this calorie deficit. High chew factor. University of somewhere, FA, Arkansas, Alabama, somewhere. Did some research on chewing and things like that, and satiety. And the more you chew, the more satisfied you're going to be with less food. So you want to try to chew a little bit more. So you can even just work on that. You can try to count how many times you chew, maybe 30 chews or something before you swallow, or just work on taking your time a little bit more. Don't just gulp your food down. Take your time and chew it, and you'll be more satisfied with less food, so you can be in that calorie deficit. You want to change your environment. You want to try, this is kryptonite over here. So you want to try to get rid of your kryptonites, to get them as far away from you as possible. Superman doesn't go to bed with kryptonite under his bed. He doesn't keep kryptonite in the refrigerator, or keep kryptonite in the kitchen pantry. He keeps that away from himself as far away as possible. Now some of you have kryptonites that you need to try to get farther away from you. If your kryptonite is ice cream, it should not be in your freezer at home. You can go out to get ice cream, and you'll do that less often because it's more effort to go out and get ice cream. That versus if it was in your freezer, you would get it a lot of times. So you need to get that kryptonite farther away, so you use it less. So you're interacting with that less. So there's big temptations. Change your environment to make the good things easier to do and the bad things harder to do, and you'll be a lot more successful at getting this calorie deficit. Mindless eating. There's a lot of great strategies there. If you read the book by Brian Wansink about mindless eating, the plate size thing, cup size, things like that. It works. It actually works. They've studied it. They've told people that it works, and then they go like, no, and then they studied those people, and it works on them too. All right, so it does work. It does change how many calories you eat when you have a smaller plate, even if it doesn't feel like it. Just do it. And that can be a way to get your calorie deficit. Substitutions. This is going to be a way to get a different food in place of a higher calorie version. So Sarah's made a great chicken wing chili one time. So it's a lot lower fat, lower calories, and tastes a lot like chicken wings. So that can be an option to substitute in when you're having that kind of craving. Or there's some ways of remaking some of your favorite foods to make them more healthy. So substitute out some stuff to help you with that calorie deficit. Increase your fiber.
most of us aren't getting enough fiber. That also takes more calories to digest. It does a lot of other wonderful things, providing fullness and all that. So get enough fiber in, and I get at least 35 grams or so of fiber in, per day, and you'll be doing pretty good. A lot of people are at like maybe 10 grams of fiber, so it's a big push. It's going to be hard. A lot of that fiber is going to be in those vegetables, really, really good. Raw food, getting more raw food in, increase the amount of raw food. Now, they did some research with rats and stuff. They gave them both sweet potatoes, one cooked, one that had the cooked sweet potatoes, and one that said same amount of non-cooked sweet potatoes. The ones that had cooked sweet potatoes, they actually ran on their wheel more, but they also gained more weight, so they had just more energy they had to deal with. What that cooking process did, it made more energy available out of that. So, which is great, and from an evolutionary standpoint, we get to survive on less amount of food, and we can make it stretch farther. But nowadays we don't have a food shortage, so we don't need that. So eating more raw food is going to allow you to have a lot more stuff and get in that calorie deficit. Keep a food journal. Having a food journal is really going to help you to figure out what is happening, to be able to control the calorie amounts so you can be in that calorie deficit. Soup and salad. Soups and salads, you can go overboard on. You can make a high-calorie soup and high-calorie salad, but typically if you work at it, you can get a low-calorie option of those, and the volume is big. It's a lot of stuff to take in. You eat that, and you're more full. So those can be options. Avoiding your triggers. Sometimes there are people, that you hang out with, and when you're done hanging out with them, you feel like you need to eat something to celebrate the fact that you finally got away from them, And so those kind of people, maybe you try to hang out with them less. Maybe it's environmental triggers. When you're around in a certain place, you tend to do this more. I mean, it's certain stress triggers. You want to try to avoid those. So when you find yourself coming across those, try to figure out ways of getting around that or experiencing that less of these triggers. Eating by the clock. Sometimes people need to use a timer to keep them on a better schedule. So maybe a 3-4 hour timer. So they eat, and 3 or 4 hours later they got a little alarm that goes off, and they go, okay, I'm going to eat again. So I'm going to wait 3 or 4 hours to eat. I'm not going to do a lot of snacking in the meantime. I'm going to wait to eat again. And or also, you may go off and you go, is it time to eat already? And you may go, well, I am a little bit hungry, but I'm not hungry. You want to actually eat before you get starving hungry. Eat breakfast. Eat breakfast is a good strategy. Exercise and appetite. Exercise can actually decrease our appetite. So doing that is a really, really big help. Now, if you're having trouble with your appetite and things like that in the evening, I would recommend going for a walk or something, or maybe put some exercise in the evening. That time that you spend exercising, if it's an hour or something after dinner or things like that, that's a main eating time for a lot of people. If you're exercising or walking or away from food during that interval, you're going to eat less because the food is farther away from you. So it's a good trick there. Caffeine. It possibly could be a tool there where you actually eat. I mean, it's a hunger satiety kind of thing. It can decrease your appetite, So I think sometimes it can snap back really hard on you, so you really need to watch out for that. But I'm not a huge fan of that one, but it's an option. You could do paleo or vegetarian or something like that, along with. Basically, it's a bread type carbohydrate restriction is something you could do, and that could get you a calorie deficit. So you say, I'm going to stop eating the breads, the refined carbs, the pastas, those kind of things. And a lot of times that's enough to get a calorie deficit and you start getting weight loss. So sometimes that can be a trick there. Reduce your fat intake. So if you have less fat, you have less calories. It's a good thing. Fat has a lot of calories per gram, so you're having less of that. Sometimes people go too low with their fat though, and they're not full enough. So you got to get the balance of that right. EPOC, excess post-exercise oxygen consumption. So your workout, the harder you go in that workout, the more you're going to get that excess post-exercise oxygen consumption, which is the afterburn, which could be, in some studies have been cited at 48 hours. I think that's maybe a bit too excessive, but definitely 12 to 24 hours. You could be burning energy at a higher rate. NEAT, it's just neat. I don't know, Bo wrote this up, so I'm not sure that he will explain that one, but not eat, maybe that's what it says. But that can get you a calorie deficit. Drink more water. So if you're drinking more water, it's filling you up more. A lot of times our hunger and thirst reflex are confused. Water fills you up more. I even think that sweating can be a good strategy, because when you sweat, you need to drink more water, and when you have more water in your stomach, you can't fit as much food in. And so sweating can be a way to do that. But drink more water. Everything works better with water. Digestion works better. Energy works better. So getting more of that. And so here are some things you can do to get a calorie deficit. Some of these can be quick little things like mindless eating strategies, stuff like that. Some of them are going to be some of these things you got to work on a regular basis. If it's something you got to work on a regular basis, I say choose one and work on that for a while. Don't try to apply lots of things all at once. Pick one thing and work on that really, really well. Focus on it and get it done. So hope this is helpful. This is Jeremy Behrens saying have fun and be safe.